Hey everyone, how's it going? Thank you for joining us tonight. Today we have a very special guest. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Is my sound okay? Awesome, great, thanks. So, for all of you joining us today, hi Gil, hi Eric, hey Jerry, hey C. Philip Moore, Andrew Slater, good to see you all. And we have a very exciting session today. I'm very excited about it. And I'll tell you why in a second. First, I'll introduce myself for all of the first timers here. So, my name is Omer. I am one of the co founders of IndieFlow, a platform to manage your music. We are independent artists and we created a software to help with the day to day errands and to help you guys out. So feel free to get 50% off by clicking the button below. So we'll start with that with a little perk for the beginning of the session. And also you will get a free consultation session with Jerry, which I personally wouldn't miss. So, without further ado, I will invite Jerry to the screen. So, for all of you joining, Jere B is a very dear friend of ours. He's an inspiration, also a musician, an entrepreneur. He founded a community called the EntreMusician, which is an amazing community of independent musicians who are doing all kinds of crazy and creative projects all around the world. And it's great collaborating with Jerry at all times. And yeah, I think I will invite him on screen. So this sometimes does take a while. Let's send invitation. And in the meantime, there we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Great to see you.
Blessings to you, man.
I think there's some sort of little hiss, little background noise. Maybe you
Yeah,
hear it as well.
I do hear it. I heard it when you clicked on.
Is it from my end?
I believe so, and there's a slight delay as well.
All right, let me try something.
Yeah, I hear it in my headphones.
Sorry, guys. Jerry, I think it's from your computer, from your sound system. We
Um,
did it. Let's try to mute
uh,
my microphone 1 second.
okay, I apologize. Nothing changed since our mic check.
Or sound check. All right, so
Right.
let me see something. All right, let me try something here.
I did not hear it until I came on. Interesting. Um, I'm from Youngstown, Shabbat.
All right. Sorry, Jerry. I just muted you 1 second. Just to explain, we did a quick mic sound check before, and we didn't have the sound, so we apologize, guys. Give us another second. Let's try and fix it. Jerry, do you have, by any chance, a another microphone connected to that computer?
Connected. I don't have another mic connected, but I can connect one if we can beg the patience of the wonderful audience.
I think it's worth it.
Sure.
I think it's worth the minute. In the meantime, sure. Cool. All right. Good to see you guys. So let's do something fun today. I think I don't know if Jerry can hear us, but I think we're going to talk today about mindsets and about creativity and also about the chaos of being an independent musician these days. kind of bring that right mindset into practice. And I think what we'll do today is maybe if you guys are interested to kind of share your own stories, maybe we can, during this session, bring one or two of you on screen to share. Does that sound like something you'd like to do? We'll see. We'll get warmed up, and then we'll see if Gil. Awesome. All right. If we have any other brave volunteers during the session, then feel free. We'll see how it flows. I'm very excited about the session today, especially because this is very freestyle. So we'd love to have you guys also join in and tell us about your stories and about yourselves and who you are as musicians. And yeah, no real structure here, so that's also very exciting. Like, I don't know what time it is wherever you're at the moment, but feel free to even pour a glass of wine and, get into the zone. So I see Jerry's connecting. He brought his other mic. Awesome. Philip, or see Philip, sorry. No worries. You don't need to have a mic, a camera. If you want to share, of course, then we can also bring you on screen without like an actual camera. So yeah, just taking notes and learning from you. Awesome, Omar, great to see you. So guys, if you want also to share, guys and gals, some links to your music in the meantime, let's spread the love a little bit and share each other's music here. I was just listening, by the way, to Jerry's music, which I will add a link to his album. One sec. So I believe, Jerry?
So interestingly enough, I've connected the new microphone. The interesting thing is there's a mic that's on the webcam.
Ah, got it. Maybe it's there. But Jerry, if you go to your settings on the screen, if you hover over the screen, do you have a little settings wheel?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if you go there, maybe you can change the input. And switch it to the new mic. Oh, much better, much better. Can you turn yourself up a bit?
I can. Can you hear me? How's that? Better?
Completely different mode.
Very
turn
cool.
yourself a bit down. It's very, very loud.
Sure. How's that?
There it is. Exactly.
Grateful that these things are in arm's reach.
Yeah, it's also a part of our lives. So I think, everybody's really accepting it these days. No choice. I mean, it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
How are you doing, buddy? Great to have you.
I'm doing good now that I can hear myself without. I still hear a delay. I don't know if everybody hears that or not, but I'm doing great.
Great. We don't hear a delay.
Good.
So for us, it's okay. Yeah. So I introduced you, Jerry. I mean, in the last few minutes, we've been dealing with some technical issues. I talked about while you were bringing the new mic, I was saying to whoever joined us here that we're going to do this very freestyle and conversational. So what would be cool is also like if somebody wants to join us from the audience to talk a little bit about their challenges as artists, as their, if we're already a group in here to make this kind of like a bit more collaborative, I think that would be an interesting direction.
Excellent.
Cool. So before we do that, let's introduce you properly, Jerry. So tell a little bit about what you do. Obviously, you're the founder of EntreMusician. Also, you're an amazing musician. I just listened to your two
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I really, I was really inspired. I just listened to Ecstatica and also added the link here. Um, a lot of ideas going on there, and yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Enough of me talking.
I'm a guy from Youngstown, Ohio. That's pretty
And
much
that's
it.
it.
Born and raised in Youngstown, which is an hour east of Cleveland, an hour north of Pittsburgh. So it's a little village. And grew up playing in teenage bands. As a matter of fact, my brother-in-law and bass player, who spent a lot of his musical life, C. Philip Moore, is on point. Excellent bass player. And we just grew up breaking a lot of 4 tracks, 8 tracks, and DAWs when we got into the computer era. Um, Led a band called Sound Doctrine since 2001. We've been blessed to have 6 CDs, some of them award winning, others have charted nationally, the Billboard Contemporary Jazz charts. So thank God for that. And as you have to do as an entre musician, you have to reinvent yourself every time the industry changes. And came up with the moniker, the entre musician, after reading a book from Dave Ramsey, which was the entre leader. And many of the principles and values he taught in that book, I thought applied really to not only what we were going through personally as musicians, but could be a framework for all musicians. And so, about 3 years ago, we began this community just with the musicians and artists that we have met across the country and abroad, and begin having this dialogue as the industry began to change. Spotify, it went from downloads. Well, actually, it went from albums and selling CDs out of the trunks of your car to downloads to streaming, and how that affected musicians financially as well as emotionally and spiritually, because it seems like we're always pivoting. So we had to talk about dialogue um, that led to our advantage. Um, what do we need
100%.
to do to take these micro pennies that streaming doles out and really make that an advantage? So there's been all kinds of resources, articles, and conversations that I've had on both sides of the fence with different musicians. And we throw a lot of those articles up on the EntreMusician.com. That's a long answer, I know, but it was a thorough one.
It's always thorough, and yeah, it's also I like how you always articulate things and you put a lot of emphasis around words also in your music. Not in the last album, obviously, but in the one before that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, where was the point in your career where you kind of like understood, where you saw all of a sudden that your life is music is in your life. You don't have to worry about like running around between, I don't know, like temporary jobs, and like you kind of brought yourself to a point where, okay, I got there.
Yeah. Um,
Was there a specific day, like a moment you remember where you were like,
there were several moments, and I think even the last 5 minutes of trying to get this microphone hooked up. you know, um,
everybody, nobody here saw, I think, your basement, but like everything that's happening around that camera is just like all about music. It's an insane studio with like 3 computers, a green screen,
yeah.
monitors in every corner.
Absolutely. In fact, what we did, we had a podcast episode, Omir, back in August called Don't Fret the Reset, because it seems like there's been various chapters to answer your question where I thought, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's happening. And then something would go awry and you would have to start from scratch. And that's ultimately the life of an entre musician. How quickly can you pivot when something goes awry. Not just thinking through it, but having the focus to utilize the insight, reality, uh, the reflection. What do I need to tweak? Sometimes it's a team member, sometimes it's me, often it's me. And, there are several
Taking
definitions.
responsibility.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Taking responsibility, like
Taking
really owning it, not
very much
waiting
so.
for something to happen.
Very much so. There's an integrity factor that is involved because if you're true with yourself, you're going to be true in what you do. One of the highlights of the EntreMusician is knowing that who we are is more important than what we do. I hope that makes sense. Because when you
100%.
discover who you are and why you are, then what you do is going to flow out of that.
Yeah, we also talked about that a bit on the sound check about the whole like exploration journey of artists that like it's kind of like you're digging into your own music DNA, but like it's coming from your personality and who you are. So that goes hand in hand to what you said about being truthful. Um, and I think in music, it's very much felt like you can't fake something that's not a part of you. Doesn't matter like how much music, like how many genres you know how to make or produce. I mean, essentially, as an artist, you have your kind of tone. Even when I listen to your two different albums, the one from the Jere B approach and the one before, then also over there, like there was this something that was was the same, was consistent, even if that one was instrumental completely and one was like spoken word and a lot of singers featured there and so forth. That groove, that the source of hip hop and funk and the whole like base of it was just like I can see a fingerprint there.
Mm.
And where I'm going with this is I think it's kind of like a thing that we're all searching for, and once you hit that line, then you can reproduce a lot quicker. Like you can create music a lot more efficiently and a lot more easier. You have your fingerprint. Then it kind of like also shifts to stuff that we don't like to discuss but we have to, such as branding, and the more like marketing business side of things.
Yeah.
um and yeah, I think like my question for you is kind of like the mindsets in these different sides of the brain, right? Like you have your creative side and your business side.
Mhm.
And today, there's no doubt, like everybody says that it's well known. Like everybody knows today, in order to make it, you have to be both. So what would be your advice to kind of know how to own it, both of those worlds, and kind of like not be frustrated by all the noise and all the chaos out there?
Yeah, it's as I said before, it's just that integrity of being you. Um, in the two albums that you mentioned, I mean, our first album, Perseverance by Sound Doctrine, came out in 2002. It was right after September 11th.
Wow.
And what we were going through as a country, as a world, that was a huge event. And to write from that perspective, I think really, helped us to identify that we're going to be absolutely true. The next album, Endurance, which was completely instrumental, we were writing from a place of where we were right then. Most of us husbands and fathers with small kids, that perspective, even though there was not one lyric, you could hear that dynamic there. When we put out Inspire, it was a more gospel uh, infused CD. So the marketing, the branding, the the focus toward what we were trying to say, we were not really trying to reach people. We were just trying to be true to life. And I think that helped. I think if we were trying to focus our branding on, oh, we need to be here, we need to sell this many CDs, it would have fell flat. I think people really were attracted to Sound Doctrine because they knew when we hit the stage or when we released something from the studio, we were giving our hearts.
Yeah, so it's a lot simpler than what like we make of it, right? It's like people are searching for that, like how they'll be unique and what they'll wear and what like how to do their photo shoot and what color to dye your hair and so
Yeah.
forth. Where it's like a lot about just keeping it close, keeping it all attached. Like essentially, it makes sense. It can be like a huge process, like a very long process of thinking it out. I'm sure it didn't come to you guys like that, like in an instant. I'm sure it was like
No,
a brainstorm session.
no, you're absolutely right. And again, Feel the Beat, C. Philip Moore can tell you. I mean, there was a point in our career we had two sound doctrines going because we were doing an awful lot of travel. So the Ohio sound doctrine and then the Maryland sound doctrine, because it was more economic. So we had another band down there. So when we did DC, Maryland, Virginia, Baltimore proper, Delaware, and even into New York, there was a time where I had to really be real with who I was as a husband and father. This was 2008. And so we were starting to make traction. And I remember calling my wife and talking to her from these different hotels or motels, wherever we were. And hey, put the girls on the phone. They were little. And hey, Nia, I love you. Hey, put your sister on the phone. And then I had to come to a point where, is this really what I want my daughters to know about me?
Hmm.
I mean, so we're making traction, we're getting the attention of radio, we're selling CDs. And I had to say, what type of father do I want to be? And so I came off the road. I
Just
got
like
a
that.
quote unquote day job. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, I can do the thing, become the star, quote unquote, get rich, and have no connection with my girls. Now my girls
Wow.
are adults, right? This is reality. I'm talking about truth. My daughters are adults. They're each doing very well. My wife loves me. 26 years into the marriage, and now I can do my thing because I was true to who I was back then.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it's you do your prioritization at some point and kind of like reflect and think about things that are important to you. I see that C. Philip said here that you played in two gigs in two different locations
Oh yeah.
simultaneously.
That was in
You
Cleveland,
want to
Ohio.
explain that?
Yeah, that was in Cleveland, Ohio, at a museum for a jazz festival that was going on. And I think at that time we were either a six or seven piece. And
Wow.
that's when the seeds of the EntreMusician came in. It's like, how can we take advantage and be on two stages at once? So we split the band into two trios, and we were able to be double booked, double paid, and spread the name out because there were people everywhere. So yeah, Phil was a huge part of that.
With a seven-member band, you have to be double paid. Otherwise, no one gets paid.
Right. But Sound Doctrine was played twice and performed twice and really spread the platform. So yeah, always
Nice.
thinking innovatively.
Yeah. So before we talk a little bit about the Entre Musician, just about like to wrap up what you said, the whole idea is kind of like I think we're kind of shifting away from that world where um, you're just a musician or you're just like I'm just writing music. Whoever will discover me, and it's kind of like okay, we're personalities made of a bunch of different things. Like we have lots of passions. Maybe music is the main force of energy, but it's also a matter of balance. Going all in with one thing doesn't mean that it's healthy for you or it's good for you. So maybe like even that choice to be a father and be there for your girls kind of fueled up the energy for your phase two of the career where you just got back. And I'm guessing the Antrim musician also started from having to be more at home or having to be like less on the road. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, it was definitely a reintroduction because people, as you age, younger musicians especially start to ask you questions. And how do I do this? How do I, and because of knowledge, copyright, publishing, distribution, these are things that we had gone through, marketing them accordingly. You find yourself giving out advice. Well, some people smarter than me said, that's called consultation. so, so you actually need to pivot. In fact, Sterling Williams, who was our accountant, became a strict, how are you going to invest your time in this particular situation? So that spilled into building a website so that I can truly um, be able to be a source or a resource of advice to people who need it, to build a community, but then some who need detailed, tailored information to pull them alongside and be able to invest that time in them.
Yeah, and you have like there are all kinds of different projects there. It's really interesting. Like going on one of your webinars or one of your sessions, you never know who you'll meet on the other side. It's kind of like it's really who are like the three your three favorite projects that you got to like interview and be a part of. That you were really lucky to meet.
So as far as interviewing, Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers was a great interview. He's a legend. If you remember the Isley Brothers, just awesome. Um, there, there was Michael Elsner, who I interviewed right after completing his course. I'm talking because I have this delay, so forgive me. So sounds to me like I'm talking very slowly.
It
But
sounds it
Michael,
sounds
it
it
sounds
sounds
great,
okay. Maybe you can oh, but then you won't hear me.
right?
I don't have an idea.
That's
I
okay.
thought
That's
to
okay.
turn
I
down
just
the
don't
volume.
want people to think I'm talking like a derelict because I do have a delay in my headphones.
Oh,
However, Michael Elsner took a great class of his called Master Music Licensing, and had a great time with him. He's a great man, wonderful course instructor. Also, a young lady from Switzerland. Her name is Linda Mack, young singer, just up and coming, very vibrant. Had a wonderful conversation with her. Anthony Nottingham from England. I could go on, but I think one thing that the interview sessions on our YouTube channel really does keep us connected with the world because people are thinking the same as EntreMusicians no matter where they live. There's this guy named Omar Matz from IndieFlow,
heard
and
of
we
him?
just had a dynamic conversation. But
Yeah,
again,
a surprising one too. It was
it's
like,
amazing. And
yeah.
the thing that I'll say this about IndieFlow, and I'm not saying this just because we're on this webinar. I always say my nose is brown enough. I don't have to brown nose anybody. The thing that really intrigued me about your platform and about what IndieFlow was doing, it was not just another distro kit or CD baby. There was some forethought in how are we going to serve musicians, artists, bands? How are we going to help think through all of the problems that they have and present a solution? And to me, that's the ultimate entre musician right there.
100%. Thank you for those kind words. We didn't pay Jerry to say that for whoever
Not at
was.
all. My nose is brown enough.
Exactly. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I feel that it's. I mean, it's just the way the music industry is built through communities. It was always like that. It was always very communal. Whether music happened like 200, 300 years ago, it's always like in a tribe with people playing together, and that's kind of the way it goes. And even if you look like 30, 40 years ago, it's all like being there, talking to people. So I think the thing that, maybe the industry is shifting and changing, but the core that's there all the time is that energy between people and, helping each other out. And as hard as this industry can be, and also there are a lot of dangers out there,
Sure.
then I think that the core, of the people who really are passionate about music are just passionate about, like, they do it from love and they want to help out, and it's kind of what stirs it. So for us, the mission was really here to okay, there's this crazy thing happening right now. We're not realizing it because, we're in it. And this is the whole digitalization making the industry more democratized. And it's a beautiful time because, like, I'm sure that 20, 30 years, maybe even less, like maybe I'm pessimistic, but maybe even 10 years, then, the fact that you can't make money from being a musician will be like, what? That's a job. There are artists in places like in countries such as Holland, for example, who get paid to be an artist. The government pays them.
Mhm.
So it's a matter of putting yourself into that and finding that format. Each musician has their own kind of thing that works for them. For one, it
Yes.
can be gigs. For you, it can be licensing, sync and licensing. And for somebody else, it can be production. For somebody else, it can be teaching.
Mhm.
And I feel like you can't ignore the fact that we are becoming a small business to everything. So you have to know how to manage yourself, or at least have something to help you manage yourself. um but that's our 2 cents. In any case, I wanted to talk a little bit about the mindset, the going back to the mindset and going back to the focus. I feel that also ourselves as artists in IndieFlow, and entrepreneurs who actually built something that's techie,
Yeah.
technology. And still, it's the same kind of factors that you talk about a lot, which is the discipline, the focus, and how to bring yourself to that every single day, which is, it's not an easy thing to do, to
No.
say the least. So what would be your advice, like, to people who joined us here, people who are viewing this afterwards, on actually doing this and not being frustrated, and like devoting yourself, and how to bring yourself even to that point where you're doing it every day?
Yeah. Well, yeah, those are the three legs that the EntreMusician stands on: mindset, discipline, and focus. Mindset is a state of being. You've made a decision, of course, after knowing this is who I am, this is why I am, and I'm this. In my marketing, or my direction that I'm going, I know that's my tribe. That's not my tribe. That's my family. That's not my family. I sing this type of music. I don't sing that type of music, and it's okay because there's enough to go around. So I have this mindset, which is my foundation, is my floor. Discipline, is uncomfortableness because it's moving out of your comfort zone, is making sure that you are plowing ahead and building a system of daily habits that you're going to do in order for you to get from A to Z. And whether you're planning out your year, several months in advance, your weeks, and your days, this is my set. Just like when I go to the gym and I'm working out and I have my routine, this is what I'm going to do on a daily basis. Now, I have to give some love to Michael Hyatt, because Michael Hyatt, I use his full focus planner, and it is one of the best planners that I've ever had, because he makes sure that you're doing your review, that you're doing proper planning, and that you're giving every day a name. That changed my
That's
world.
that's amazing, an amazing point, because when you brought the analogy of the gym, then really, like, in a gym you have a coach, right? I mean, you see the weight, you know how to lift the weight, but if you want to get somewhere, you have a goal and you have an objective. But then we have a lot of musicians that we're trying to help in building like strategies for them and plans, and kind of like, this is our objective. So for each person, something, each person has a different objective. And like you're saying, the example you just gave, how do you know how to build that plan? Like, as simple as that. Okay, I want to reach, at the end of the year, I want to have 1,000 more followers.
Mhm,
It's not, it's a reasonable goal, I guess.
mhm.
How do I know what to do in order to get there? I can't just make it up. Where do I look? How do I find it?
I think that's just like planning a budget, because that was a challenge for me in saying financially, I want to make this much money. I have this much money. How do I get to there? Um, you you can't really pinpoint it other than having the mindset of, and I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but this is who I am. That's my tribe. I'm not a pop artist. I'm a jazz artist. I'm not just a jazz artist, I'm experimental, meaning that a lot of my music, as you pointed out in those last two CDs that you quoted, are totally different.
Hmm.
One is more spoken word, one is totally instrumental. But my tribe, who I've identified, understand that this is coming from the heart of Jerry. So, what I need to do in my daily disciplines is duplicate my artists. If it's one at a time, if it's three at a time, there's Janice. Janice has, when we have analytics, that Janice has followed us. Okay. Janice likes not only sound doctrine music, not only Jerry B music, she likes Parliament Funkadelic. She
Hmm.
likes Wynton Marsalis. Who are the Janices that help to fit that demographic, and
Hmm.
how can I reach out to them? And it's very
Yeah,
simple to do, but it's a meticulous process.
exactly. And I feel that I mean, I'm not talking from my personal experience. I'm just in general, like um, I feel that the whole way there, keeping that focus is kind of like what kind of drives you right and left, because it's not a straight road, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's not a straight word road.
you, yeah, exactly. You have like your objective, and fine, you can have a list of 100 things that are great, that might be amazing idea, but maybe like only two of them work, and then like you try them, you try five, don't work, five don't work, and then like a couple work. You start like digging deeper into those and kind of see maybe gold's hiding behind that. And the idea of focus, that's like where the second element, I think, that you just mentioned comes into play, where it's really hard for us also to be creative and also stay in focus, because as creatives, we're all over the place, and it's kind of hard to keep that attention and like not get lost. And I feel that especially today,
Mhm.
it's really easy to lose that focus. And the more we are true to that focus, that's like, I think that's key. It's easy to say, of course.
Sure.
I was wondering if like you have exercises or even books, just like you mentioned, about those areas, how to become better in that.
Well, let's talk about focus. There are five levels actually of focus, and it's not a one, two, three process in the sense of first do this, first do that. I mean, second do that. The thing is, you're kind of running with those five levels sometimes simultaneously. The first being foresight. You have to have discernment, and that goes back to, well, how do you build this audience? How do you make a decision that you want 20,000 streams at the end of whatever? So you have that foresight, that discernment. You have to see it before you see it, because things are created twice. You know that. First in the mind, secondly, the manifestation of you carrying out the daily disciplines to make it happen. The second thing you need is detailed specificity. Sounds like a complicated word, but you have to have a very clear visualization of what you want to do. For example, it's not just a show, or we're going to go out and we're going to do this gig. No, it's a 7,500 seat amphitheater, and I'm wearing my half baked tuxedo, and I threw on my grandfather's wedding ring just because. My guitar player, she's just honed back on her Fender Stratocaster, and can you see it? Build that in your mind and be very specific about it. The third manifestation or level of focus is insight. And insight goes deeper than what I can see. It goes into that intuitive area of our brain. So I have insight. I can define what this actually means. Again, this is what sound doctrine is. We're original alternative funk jazz fusion. We're not that. I have insight. Then, of course, we talked about reality. And finally, reflection, the ability to look at it at every phase and then tweak it. So, the books that I've read, as you have asked about, the people that I follow, the Michael Hyatts, the Dave Ramseys, the Bob Proctors, the Jim Rohns. It's a composite of all of that because I'm working out at the gym. I'm listening to this and I'm going, how can I make this apply to the music that I do? And that's what I advise others to do.
Beautiful. Cool. Guys,
Again, long answers, and I apologize.
no, that's what we're, I mean, that's
Thorough.
the point, right? We're kind of like building here, playing by ear. So, does anybody want to maybe come on screen and kind of share an experience or kind of share a struggle or challenge? Of course, only if you want. I know Gil said before that he's interested.
Yeah, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. Yeah,
Who are those?
good people to listen to read their books.
Thank you for that. Upstate New York. There you go. All right, so let's do something different. Let's invite Gil to introduce himself. And the way we'll do this, Gil, I'm going to send you an invite, which you'll see in a bit. So let's see if this works. You should receive an invitation. There we go. Gil's connecting. How's that delay in the headphones, Jerry?
I'm only hearing delay when I talk. I don't hear delay at all on your end.
Did you already get used to it though?
I'm trying.
Hey guys, I can't hear. Unfortunately, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can't hear us?
Hold on.
I can hear Gil.
Going in internal settings. Come on.
What is like a family restaurant or something? Oh, wow. Nice.
Okay, test.
Well, visit, you're gonna have to go there.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I went into my my sound settings and I've got the input right and the output right.
No problem.
And I don't want to keep anyone long here. Going into settings.
Let's get another minute to reconnect. If this won't happen, then maybe we'll let somebody else. If somebody's interested, feel free. Now we can just carry on. And Gil, no stress. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, then perfect. Also, whoever's with us, feel free. You can just shoot a question, randomly here in the chat if you have something for Jerry. I know I saw Omar asked about focus earlier. And yeah, I think you asked that exactly when I asked Jerry also. So I hope you got your answer. Gil, can you hear us? Nope.
Okay, sorry guys. I've tried everything for some reason.
Okay. Now we can't hear you.
So I'd rather hear what you have to say, and I'll go back to that.
Can you hear us?
That's very much like tomato sauce. I mean, my mom's tomato sauce never tasted like my.
All right, let's. I just muted you. So if.
Testing my mic through your platform, and my camera and mic are working on my end, but I can't hear.
You can't hear still. All right, I think in the meantime, let's put you on mute. Omar has asked, would I have to have earphones to be there? No, I mean, if you hear us now, then shouldn't be a problem. It's just something that myself and Jerry like to wear.
I wanted to wear them to look cool like Omer did.
Exactly. We just want to look cool. All right. So Omar would like to hop on board.
Guys,
Can
I
you hear us
haven't
now?
heard a word, unfortunately, and I see someone else saying they'd love to share an experience, so I apologize.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
I hope you guys come back when I sign out of this. Okay, thank you.
All right. So, Gil, hopefully you can hear us now, which is strange because I'm sure you heard the whole webinar if you were here till now. Omar, I'm going to bring you on screen to share an experience. Let's see. All right. So, Omar, you should have a invite sent to you, and you should have like this pop-up. You need to accept. Click accept. There we go. And yeah, let's hope we don't have any technical issues. By the way, I shared the link of the EntreMusician earlier. Everyone here should definitely check it out. Very beautiful community and website with resources and everything. Go check it out. Also, like they have their amazing musicians, and Jerry's always right happy to collaborate with anyone, musicians, managers, entrepreneurs in general. So think
I think
yeah.
our interviews really present a broad spectrum of everybody that we talk to and dialogue with, which is a part of what we call our EntreMunity.
Yeah, you're also launching a community now through the website, like a live community, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, certainly. So we are going into a subscriber-based community to give and provide more access to people because obviously, I mean, that's the thing about this interesting pandemic. It causes you to think forward, and in the sense that I really do need to be connected to you. And if I can't get to you,
Jerry, sorry, C. Philip is asking for you to turn a little bit up the microphone. I
is
can
that
hear you,
less?
but
Okay.
maybe
How's
tweak
that?
it a little bit.
Is that better?
Now
Is
I
that
can
too
hear your
loud?
delay better. Okay.
You can hear my delay. Interesting.
There we go. Much better.
Yeah. But tomorrow, which is February 1st, we begin to enter into a subscriber-based community, providing more access on the back end of what you can see on the front end of the EntreMusician. So there's different levels and different tiers, but it gives you a deeper level of access to us.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be something worthwhile. And I see also Gil here is asking my sound still on. I didn't understand the question. So you changed to the phone. You want to try again? All right. Okay, let's give it a shot. Omar, I see you have some technical issues as well. Somebody's not loving us today, I guess.
It's amazing. Our 1:00 was beautiful.
What the
sound check?
The
Yeah,
sound
sound check
check?
was great.
Yeah,
It was beautiful.
but that's what happens, when it's live, then that's where the interesting stuff happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. All right, I'm inviting you on screen again. Let's try last shot. Gremlins. Yep, they're everywhere these days. I heard there's a vaccine for gremlins.
Oh.
All right, let's try that. Gil, so much of a buildup here. Can you hear us?
Right? Yeah. I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Perfect.
How ironic, my $2,500 MacBook isn't working, but my iPhone or my Android is.
There we go. You need to keep things
Cool.
simple. That's
Right?
the universe telling you.
Cool.
So how are you?
Yeah,
Thanks for
sorry for
joining.
thank you so much, and thanks for sharing. I didn't plan on being on camera today, so I appreciate this a lot. And Jerry, is it Jerry? Do you pronounce it
Yes.
Jerry? Jerry,
Yeah.
I saw you on Michael Elsner's. I'm in the workshop as well, the
Yes.
master music licensing, and I guess just real quick, a little bit about myself. I've been writing 20 years. I, started winning awards and songwriting contests. Now my focus is on sync, and I found Kathy Heller about 4 years ago. She teaches something called six-figure songwriting, and I sort of felt like I mastered, what she had to teach, and then moved on to Michael, and he just blew it out of the water a little bit higher. And so now I am just looking to get into action more, the discipline and the mindset and networking and getting all the admin stuff, the metadata, all the busy work done. But I have to really be methodical and find that discipline with that. But really just looking to build relationships right now and gravitate towards sync, all things sync.
Are you done with your spreadsheet of doom?
I'm done with about 4 to 6. I've done 10 to 12 files for each song.
Yeah.
Between different versions and mixes, and did all the metadata and came up with 85 keywords per song and things like that. So
Believe
relative.
me, I had the thesaurus out. My
You had the what?
thesaurus was
Yeah, exactly.
was working overtime.
Yeah, Michael supplies that 750 page sheet or 750 word sheet of things, but now it's kind of fun, more personalizing it more than that, because nobody knows our songs better than we do.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Gil, if I can ask, like, how do you approach that? Like, do you do like steps, or is it all like mixed together? Do you first do the research and then go into like reaching out and networking and stuff, or is it all like just ongoing and dynamic all the time?
Well, I've gotten about 5 licenses so far, and my biggest one was on Younger, the comedy show, which was cool. And I got that from Kathy Heller. So I just, found her, started studying her stuff. They open up opportunities, and we pitched a couple different songs for a couple different things with them. So she's sort of like a small library. So I guess it would be learning first, and so now I'm just trying to get myself out of that analysis paralysis that a lot of us seem to be talking about these days. And I've done that way too many years. And so just trusting I know enough and following my gut, like you were saying, Jerry, so yeah, learning first, just so you don't make severe mistakes. And the cool thing that has been coming my way is from Michael Elsner and others is, make the mistakes. Don't worry about it. Don't try to be perfect. There's a difference between making mistakes and burning bridges. And if you're just cool, but you're messing up, it's okay. People will forgive you, but just don't go out and hurt people or be a jerk, because that's how you burn bridges.
Absolutely. John Maxwell has a wonderful book called Failing Forward. And I take that into consideration, because again, mistakes and integrity are 2 different things.
There you go. Yep.
Great. Awesome, Gil. It was worth it, I guess. All the time that we try to bring you on board. So, like, when you see that, like, things started happening for you, do you feel that, like, it was more important for you to put yourself in around communities, to surround yourself by specific types of people? Like, when you decided to go into sync and licensing, just as an example, it doesn't even have to be that. I guess it can be the same way also, like playing live or selling merch. But like, what was the way that started like opening the path for you in that sense? What were
I
your
think
techniques or strategies?
just trusting the how can I say? There's an expression, success leaves clues, and a lot of the people that I'm listening to, like Jerry and Graham Cochran at Recording Revolution, and Ill Factor at Beat Academy, and Michael Elsner at Master Music Licensing, Kathy Heller. They all are kind of living their talk, and those are the people I want to listen to. And I just sort of, I've always asked, just show me what to do and I'll do it. If we trust each other, if I trust what you're doing, and everybody's giving so much, so it's not just do it. It's hard to not see results or not get success, and so now my focus is networking, because I've reached out to so relatively few people and I've gotten success from that. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, wow, what if I do that 3 people a week, just reach out and really do the research. What can happen if I've got 36 or 50 people in a year? Yeah.
That's your routine to kind of like, your focus is, okay, this is my goal, 3 people a week. It's not a big deal. And I'm sure that each person also can open a couple more doors, and that's like how you go down the rabbit hole. So is that kind of like the mindset that you put yourself into? Like, I'm just going to reach out to 3 people a week and see what happens.
That's my mindset now. It hasn't been, and it's been, well, to clarify, mindset being action, it's been in my mind, all this time, but now it's about really doing it. And I do a lot of stuff. I'm going to school full time. I'm working full time. Wow. I'm doing music, but now I'm letting go of one of those things, changing some work situation, and making music paramount, as well as school right now until I get that new degree, and then music's you feel it when you're ready. It's and that's how I feel right now. So it's up to me. So,
wow, yeah. Man, blessings to you on that. That's right on point.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. It's
what are you studying?
I'm jumping. I'm studying. Actually, I just went into an IT degree just because I'm in the Actors Union. I did some acting 20 years in New York City, but I'm in upstate New York now. And the Actors Union was, if anybody's in the union, actors or otherwise, the AFL-CIO gives a free 2-year community college degree, and online. And it's a lot of money they're paying, but they just do it for union members. And it's not every day somebody says they'll pay tuition. So I jumped on that before I moved upstate, just to kind of have something in my back pocket. But I got something relatively quickly to get me up here and to move on. Yeah, I just wanted to. I was done living in New York City, and but I'm still staying with the school because again, I wasn't going to just quit that. So I'm getting a 4.0, almost graduated, really buckled down, and did it a lot differently than I did the first time when I was 20. So,
yeah, things
something about age, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like I take it a little more seriously here.
A lot less stressed. Like you approach it from a different place, like from a different internal place.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Cool, Gil. So we're almost reaching the end of this webinar. So I'd like to really thank you for sharing your personal experience and your your wisdom with us. If you don't mind also sharing like the amazing names that you just pointed out on the chat, if you want.
Okay. Great.
And yeah, so thank you very much for hopping on.
Thank you, and I'll be watching out for you guys a lot more now that I know who you are. All right.
We'll touch base offline.
Yes,
that would be wonderful, Jerry. I appreciate that. Cool. All right. Good luck to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Very interesting. I mean, the whole loops and cycles of life, huh?
That's correct.
It's crazy.
That's correct. It's great that he went through Michael's course, and I would recommend that, even if you're not looking into going into a career of music sync. I think that some of the principles and values that Michael teaches, again, you can take those and apply them in performance, in publishing, in distribution, in streaming. He really is a sync guru, but principles are principles, and you can multiply them. Michael Elsner, Master Music Licensing. And that's pretty interesting that you would get 2 students of Michael's in one webinar.
There you go. Small world.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Jerry, any last tips, last things you want to share with us?
Well, absolutely. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform. Well,
Sure.
apologize for any gremlins I might have brought uh, to it. Again, our sound check was right on point. But I do encourage people to check out the EntreMusician. Come and kick the tires. Come to the YouTube channel. Check out some of the interviews that we have. Come and check out our litany of EntreMusicians, which you'll find in our Entre immunity. Once a month, we have an EntreMusician of the month, but we have about 50 organically grown EntreMusicians. And I can tell you, this is about true dialogue, true collaboration. This is not just a bunch of names that we threw up. We have dialogue. And just as you and I talked the other day, Omer, with Trevor and from Intuitive,
Mhm.
this is how we work. This is how we dialogue. So you know that person, you need a bass player or you need a trumpet player,
There we go.
we try to set up the network. So come and hang out with us at the
There we
EntreMusician.
go. And I loved how Gil made it sound so simple. Like just reach out, be part of the conversation, even if you just speak to 3, 4 people. You never know like where that can lead to,
That's right.
and never like never be afraid. Everyone's just people eventually, and I think throwing yourself there you go.
Exactly.
Exactly. See, Philip, I think we're really connecting here, me and you. So that was amazing also from you, Gil, and thank you for participating.
Very
Jerry,
good.
as you like to say, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, blessings to you. And I really appreciate every time speaking to you is an interesting adventure. But thank you for sharing those words, and I really encourage everyone here to reach out to Jerry. He's an amazing guy, and he has so much experience in so many different areas, such as the EntreMusician. And feel free to reach out to him, reach out to us if you want to follow up on this webinar. If you have ideas and suggestions for new webinars, then also we're always open for ideas. Jerry, thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday and go to the family.
Absolutely. Blessings to you. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Peace. Bye, everyone. Thank you.